So, I wanted to talk about the power of receiving. And this is a topic that it's so interesting how, in theory, receiving seems so easy. Like every year at Christmas, we receive all those presents. Every time on our birthday, we receive all that stuff. We allow people to spoil us on certain times or certain moments out of the year, and then maybe some other times in our life it's like really hard to receive from people. There's this part of us that doesn't feel like we deserve the gifts that people want to give to us, even though we are also giving so much to others. So when I think about receiving and how and why it's so important in relationship, it's because it's this beautiful dance that happens in relationships with everyone, right? And even with our relationship with the universe and how it operates, and our relationship to God. So obviously, God gives to us so that way we can give to others, right? In partnership, there's like this mutual, if you're in a healthy relationship, obviously this mutual exchange between giving and receiving. Whether it's receiving words of wisdom or receiving compliments or giving your time or giving your energy or giving your finances within the relationship, the partnership. Well, that could be moment to moment. It could be, in some sort of set schedule, whatever you guys decide for your relationship. The problem is that a lot of us, I think, because of the society that we live in, giving, this very masculine sort of projection of the energy is more valuable, right, than just sitting back, receiving, allowing, going with the flow. That doesn't seem as favorable or as aligned to our current society. I think it's changing, right? I think it's growing. And what's just so powerful about learning how to do this in a healthy way is that when you learn how to receive, so whichever one's less dominant for you. So for in my case, I'm a giver. I'm an overgiver. I just pour out into other people, sometimes to my own detriment. My parents have told me this for years. My mother used to tell me, she's like, you don't have a lot of stuff because you give it all away. But it makes me feel happy, right? Well, it did to a certain degree, but then at some point it shifts into being about worthiness and worth and whether or not I felt worthy of receiving from other people. And if I do not feel worthy of receiving from others, then in relationship it's going to be very difficult to receive from my partner, whatever that gift is that my partner's trying to give to me, or whatever it is that they are trying to give to me. And so learning how to be a better receiver was actually really imperative for my relationship to my husband. It's also really interesting that as a giver, I also attracted a giver. So my beautiful husband is also a giver. And in relationship, in fact, I would say a majority of my friendships are also givers, right? We feel comfortable and confident in our giving abilities. And sometimes even probably diminish or dismiss or even scoff at people who know how to receive really well, right? We look at them like, oh, they're just taking all the things, blah, blah, blah. They don't even care. Do they even give anything? So we have this conditioning to that makes us believe that our giving is better, is more in alignment with God, is like the end all be all kind of state of being in affairs, like giving, right? And it's not true. It's actually out of balance. We have to learn how to receive well in order to be better givers. If you think about this, and this happened to me in my relationship with my husband until we started to shift our energy and our dynamics together. But he would give to me compliments or like presents, and certain gifts were easier for me to receive, but like compliments maybe weren't. Or advice really wasn't, and so I would dismiss them or push them away or wouldn't take them into account. I wouldn't respect them, right? And how does that make him feel as the giver? It makes him feel bad. It doesn't make him feel good. And vice versa, he would mirror this back to me in his ability to receive the presents that I would give him. I would try to do these really thoughtful things or be very thoughtful and mindful and take all the aspects of him that I love into account and things that I thought that he wanted, and then I would present him with this gift, and because he wasn't a very good receiver at the time, he would dismiss, maybe like kind of minimize the impact. I would find out later on that the gift meant a lot to him, but at the time he would minimize the impact, and it just made me feel like shit. I'm like, I don't really enjoy giving to you because you don't receive my gifts well. So where in your life are you possibly blocking the joy that the giver of the gifts that they were trying to give you? Where are you blocking your receptivity to things around you, things in your environment, to positive things? Sometimes it's a lot easier. We've all heard about it, like receiving negative, like we internalize and we receive and like integrate into our spirit these negative, what word am I looking for? Characteristics or words that fly around, right? We internalize them. But for some reason we block the ones that say that we're smart, that we're valuable, that we're lovely, that we're loved, that we're adored, that we matter. We block those. And it makes no sense, but there is this strange exchange happening there where we are blocking our blessings and receiving like the shit into the stick, like with ease, like it's normal. So I feel like there's a shift happening that we are all trying to understand a little bit better so that we can become better receivers and better givers. Because the more that we learn how to receive gifts from God, which is reminding us of our value and our worthiness and like who we are and why we're here on this planet and the impact that we have to the people that we have in our lives and the relationships that are around us, if we learn how to receive that well, then we can also be really amazing givers. So one thing that shifted for me in learning how to receive better is that I started to notice people were telling me that I was a better receiver. I got feedback from clients, from friends, from my husband. They were acknowledging that they could see the shift that I was having, that I was no longer trying to dismiss or minimize or block people giving me feedback that was good and positive. I was no longer trying to block people giving to me freely. I used to be such a source of shame, deep shame, to receive from others because it made me feel like I was less than or poor or not good enough to do it on my own, that I needed to do on my own in order to prove my value, my worth to society. And what I discovered is that because I'm valuable, because I'm worthy, that's why I get all this stuff. That's why I get all these incredible gifts. That's why things just kind of flow into my life because I am worthy, because I am good and showing up and just because I'm receptive to it now. Just because I'm receptive to it now. And this even happens with and so anyway, so what I was discovering is that because I was allowing myself to receive better, I started to notice that my husband also started to receive better. When I was giving him gifts, he was excited and acknowledging and receptive and gratuitous, like just so grateful. Whereas before I would have been like, oh, thanks. Like very simple. It would kind of hurt my heart a little bit. But I know I did the same thing to him as well, right? He would give me a compliment or try to make me feel good. And I was like, I would just like, yeah, thanks, you too. Or, I would just block it or dismiss it or minimize it. And so our balance between the giving and receiving, we were both such givers that our receptive mode was not switched on, and it almost took out the joy of giving to each other. And so this is a way to create intimacy, learning how to receive. The more you learn how to receive, the better giver you will be. The more joyous giving will become because you know how to receive and you give permission to those you're around to learn how to receive as well. It's this beautiful, beautiful experience of modeling behavior that is so much more in flow, good, balance, lovely, versus this feeling as though you have to feel ashamed for receiving from people, or that you're not good enough because you do receive from others. It's the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite. I've received more because I'm in the pocket of my worth, because I'm not blocking things, because I trust in the reception of things, because I know that I also give a lot. I give to others. I show up. I use my masculine energy in an action oriented way that it's only natural that I would be in the feminine flow and receive. Me allowing myself to not be so masculine and blocking all the things I was, and blocking, like, and only valuing my giving, allowed me to tap more fully into my feminine flow, allowed me to start receiving things from just thought. Like, I can't even describe to you how many things I just like think about, and then I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if I had that, cool, blah blah blah, and I'll walk around, and then the shit shows up like the next day. It happens all the time. It's so cool. Like, it's like the universe is responding to my receptivity of flow and receiving. And in that same turn, I gave my husband permission to also tap into his divine feminine nature and receive well, so that we both could be better givers to each other and to the world. This message was on my heart. I hope that it reaches you and resonates with you. I'm Brittany Rose Green, Get It Out Coaching, the owner and co-founder of the Collaborative Healing Spot, which is this online membership space. It's so incredible, so beautiful, $19 a month, and you get access to me and several other coaches weekly, on top of just a resource of wealth, knowledge about all aspects of healing and health and wellness. And then right now I have this beautiful free masterclass that will allow you to kind of go on a journey. It's a 45-minute journey, complete with a corresponding workbook to help give you maybe the choice to figure out what's next for you in your relationship life, what's next for you in your love life, and how you want to start to co-create with the universe, co-create with God in a more intentional way to call into your life the relationship that you actually desire, and not just kind of be a bystander or, sit in the passenger seat of like taking whatever comes, right? And thinking that that's love. You get to actually have a choice and choose. So from my heart to yours, please feel free to reach out anytime and ask me questions. And I'm here to receive you.